What is going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good or great day. And if you're not, then hopefully this can lighten the mood. Hopefully this can amp up your thought processes. We're going to get into a story time today. Last time I did a story time was about my fight at Disney. Not really a fight. I kind of just witnessed like crazy things happen. And you guys actually really enjoyed that. I got a lot of feedback for some reason on that on that story time, on that episode, so I thought I'd do another one. And this is going alongside my Israel like video, like this big Israel movie or whatever. It's like 30 minutes long, and I just go by step of like what we did, each place, each site, each day, everything that we did. I cover all of it. So this is probably going to drop alongside that. So hopefully around July 12th, around that day, a lot of Israel stuff comes out. So I'm really excited about that. It's only what, like 2 months overdue. But hey, we're here. We made it. I'm really excited. So we are going to get into the story time. And I kind of allude to this actually in my Israel video. And it's the story that I'm going to talk to you guys about today. It's the one that I mentioned when we go down to downtown Jerusalem. We do it like all illegally, which we didn't know. We weren't trying to do something like that. But that's kind of like, that's like what's so funny about this. So we are honestly just going to get right into it. Please go subscribe to the Patreon, YouTube, Spotify. This is what you're listening to on now. I really appreciate you guys having fun and listening to my voice telling stories and talking about all kinds of stuff that I like to talk about. So let's get into it. So we're in Israel, right? Me, my mom, my dad, and 70 other church members of my church are in Israel, right? We're at this hotel. We're in Jerusalem. Okay, we're going out every single day to different sites, and we're coming back to the hotel. And this hotel is a really nice hotel, and it houses, I don't know, it houses normal Israeli people, but we found another tour group alongside ours. Like, hey, we're also doing other things. What's going on? Like, how's it going? So my mom goes out on our balcony, and all the balconies are connected. And to our left is a couple. Like, hey, my name is I forget his name. I think his name is like Jeff or something, or Ronnie, or like Donnie or something. I don't know. Like this older guy. And he's like, yeah, like, how's it going? Like, I've been to Israel like 17 times. This is my 18th time or something to Israel. We're actually leading a tour group here, going around to the different sites just like you guys. Hey, tonight, by the way, we're going, this is like our third day, I think, the third day there. Hey, we're going down to the downtown of Jerusalem. We're gonna go downtown where like the big skyscrapers are, like where all the shops, restaurants, and food and different things are tonight, probably around 6. And I have no idea when we're gonna probably get back, probably around 12. And we're all like, whoa, like, holy cow, you guys are crazy. And we're like, yeah, like we've been here a couple times, we love going down there. So yeah, come on if you guys want to. We're gonna meet at the hotel around like 6:30. And my mom was like, absolutely. We got somebody that knows what they're doing, is going downtown, knows how to get there, and knows probably all the great shops. And we have like a time. And she was like, well, can we invite a couple of our church members, not just us? And they're like, yeah, go ahead. We're having about like 20 of ours. Go ahead and get yours. Like, sure, well, I'll have a good time. We're like, okay, sounds good. This is at like the beginning of day 3, I think. Yeah. No, beginning of day 4. I can't remember. It's the day before that when we go into Old Jerusalem, like seeing the Wailing Wall and Solomon's Temple. Not really Solomon's Temple, but like the Temple Mount. It was the day before that this is when this conversation transpired, right? So this whole day, Mom's like, heck yeah, we're going to go downtown. We got to get back to the hotel, eat dinner really fast, and we're going to go out with Donnie here. Like, it's gonna be a lot of fun. You're like, yeah, I'm super excited too. I'm very skeptical about like trusting other people. Like, okay, this guy, we don't even know this guy, but he seems like, a pretty nice guy. He's leading a tour group, so what could go wrong, right? And I don't know, like, I felt pretty safe in Israel so far, so what am I to fear? So whole day goes by, we come back, we're like, all right, let's go to the downtown. We're like, okay, sounds good. So we all leave our hotel. So we get a group of our people. So it's me, my mom, and my dad, and like a couple of the pastors and a couple other people that really want to go down there, right? And then their group of people, like about 20 of them. So we have about maybe 35 people ready to go. So we all leave the hotel, and he's leading the way, right? So we're like, okay, fine. Like we're going somewhere, right? So we leave the hotel, go down a couple of alleys, go across the road, like this major highway, and then eventually end up at this like tram station that also acts like as like a bus station and whatnot. He's like, all right, we gotta take the tram downtown. And we're all like, okay. Sounds good. So there's only two computers, one on each side of the tram, and you have to like buy a ticket, right? Or you have to, buy a ticket and get on the tram and then go, right? So so we got it just makes me laugh just thinking about like the whole situation. So they got their people, right? And they're trying to figure out getting the little ticket, trying to figure it out. And we're like, okay, Donnie, like, all right, you've been here 17 times. Like, what's the holdup? And he's like, man, it just ain't working. And we're like, oh man, here we go. So a couple of our people start using the other computer, like trying to figure it out, like what to do, like how to buy the ticket actually, and where it actually goes, and where can we get off at, and what's happening, like how do we like purchase this ticket. 30 minutes goes by, right? 30 minutes goes by, and Donnie still hasn't figured out the card, still hasn't bought a single card. And he's like, I don't know how to do it. Like, it's just not working. All these, like, our debit cards aren't working, cash isn't working. And when that does work, then I just don't know how to, I don't know what to buy. And we're like, all right. So no joke. Our whole group is like, all right, y'all have fun. We go back to the hotel, leave their church's group there, still trying to figure out like the computers, because we just spent like 30-45 minutes. And the whole time, this is on, I think it was on Saturday or Friday. I think it was on Friday, right? Friday night. We didn't realize the whole time that we were there that it was on Shabbat. So Shabbat is like this Jewish tradition where you don't work. You don't even flip on a light switch. You do not work. You don't even pick up a pencil or something, like you don't do anything. So the trams obviously were not running, and the buses obviously were not running because it was Shabbat. There's no Israeli people to man those trams because they cannot work. Due to their religion, they cannot work on Friday nights. So there's nothing going on. We were looking at, it was Saturday, right? It was Saturday because Shabbat ends on Saturday night or Sunday. I can't remember. Whatever. You get the picture, right? So we were waiting. We're like, all right, we're leaving because we finally figured out that it was Shabbat and nothing is coming for another like hour. And it's probably going to take us 30 minutes to get down there. And we want to spend like an hour and a half, 2 hours down there. And it's going to take us 30 minutes to get back. So by that time, it's going to be like midnight or something. And we do not want to stay out that long. So we all go back to the hotel, right? And we leave their church. The next morning, we see Donnie. We see Donnie again, and my mom's like, because mom's trying to be like the spokesperson for this whole ordeal, because like she actually met the guy. He's like, oh, sorry, our church left, like we just we didn't know what to do. And Donnie's like, oh yeah, well, it's all good. We got it figured out, and we all went down there. We're like, oh well, I guess we should have stayed. He's like, no, we were out until like 12 or 1 o'clock. Like, we were going crazy. What are you talking about? In downtown Jerusalem, you're just going crazy at like 1 a.m.? Like, what's happening there? This other church group got back at like 1 a.m. and all of us were in bed by like 10 or something, like ready to go for the next day. So that next day, right? So the day that I'm talking about, right? That this next conversation happened, we're all like, okay, well, they already went down. So if we really want to go down, then we're going to have to figure it out. We're all like, how did you buy it? And they're like, well, you just buy the ticket and then you get on the tram and then you go. So it's like, okay, so it can't be that bad as long as you get your card working or something like that. So we make sure that we have denarii or the Israeli money or whatever. And we also have our cards ready to go. Then that night, we go on this massive expedition in the old Jerusalem. We go through all the Wailing Wall tunnels and Hezekiah's tunnel. We go up and down a bunch of stairs, King David's palace, the old city, All of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. So we finally get there, right? We finally get back to the hotel, and we're like, okay, guys, here we go. Let's get this whole group going, and we're gonna go down to the city of Jerusalem, and we're just gonna go absolutely insane, right? Who knows when we're gonna get back? Not really, but like we're all planning on like, okay, like this is our last chance to like try to go out there because the rest of the time we're gonna be tired, and who knows when we're gonna get back and all that kind of stuff. So it was not Shabbat anymore, so we knew that, right? And we knew that it was possible for for Donnie's group to get down there. Been there 17 times and couldn't even figure out the money thing or the ticket exchange or whatever. So we were already pissed about that. So like, okay, we're gonna have to figure it out. So we go down there, right? We go to the tram station. We start like fiddling with the thing. It actually turns out not that bad because you can change it to English and then tap the card, and then you just pay with the card, and then another card comes out. So you have to do that for every single person. And again, this kind of sounds rudimentary, but like honestly, it was kind of confusing because they don't spell it out like they do in the States, where it's like you buy this, you get this. No, they're just like buy a card. And we're like, okay, like what card do we need? Like, does it go one way and all that kind of stuff. So we didn't really know what we're doing. So everybody gets a card, right? We wait for the tram. Okay, like we're good. We're all the tram's coming. We all get a ticket, so we all load on, and it's fast, right? It stops, waits like 2 seconds, and then keeps going, right? These Israeli people need to get to where they're going, right? So we all get on, and there's like these like little poles that kind of look like the Disney Magic Band like scanners at the beginning of all the Disney parks, where you just like tap your Magic Band up to it. So we all take our cards and we just tap it, right? And it's like, and we're all like, oh no, like what is this? Why is it making a noise? Like we all like keep tapping ours. It's turning up red, and we're like, oh man, we're here illegally, man. We're gonna get thrown off. All these other people are watching us, dumb white Americans, try to figure out like how to how to scan this stupid thing. So nothing actually happens to us until we get down there, right? We load out and we start walking around. The whole city of Jerusalem was a lot of fun. Yeehaw. Tons of fun walking around, saw the lights, saw different pastry and bakery shops, saw the bookshop. It's super cool stuff, right? There's a couple part of our church that saw a football or soccer store, and they really wanted to get an Israeli like jersey for their kid, or a couple of them, I guess. But the store was closed by this time. I can't remember. It was like 7-8 o'clock or something. So a lot of stores, like a lot of stores closed, but a lot of like the goofy like not necessarily vacation but tourist stores are open. A lot of the restaurants are open, but that specific soccer store was not open. But they knew they needed to get down there, right? So they needed to get down there again before the time that we got down there, right? But that was just a little note in the back of their heads. All right, like we know what to do next time. So we start bumbling around, whatever. So we go back to the tram once it's time to go home. We're like, okay, let's go home. Sounds about good to us. So we look at the computer, and it doesn't say that to buy another ticket to go down, because we already bought the ticket, like two-way ticket or whatever. That's what we thought we bought, right? We scan it. We scan it on the tram. We start going back, and it's still popping up red. Like, oh man. A couple other people, like normal the people part of like Jerusalem, get on, scan it. It's like ding. It shows up green, and we're all like, we're gonna get arrested. As simple as that. Like that's as simple as that. We're not gonna see our families ever again. We're gonna be thrown in an Israeli prison. If somebody catches us, we are done for. If somebody starts coming down and collecting tickets or collecting cards, we're toast. Like as simple as that. So we get back to our hotel, right? And we're all like, okay, well that was fun. Don't need to go back down there because we really didn't know how it worked, but it was a lot of fun going down there, having fun with each other. So the couple, the next day goes by, the couple that needed to go to the sports shop to get that Israeli soccer jersey, right? We don't really know when they leave because, like they don't need to announce to everybody like, hey, everybody, we're leaving. So we're all eating dinner. They come back, and like the lady, massive eyes, were like, we almost got arrested. And her husband's like, yeah, it was bad. And we're all like, what? Like, what happened? We're like, well, we got the jerseys and we're like, okay, mission accomplished. But it it was a whole journey. So what she said, this is all like from, like what she said to us, those whole stories. So once we got back from exploring Israel, I guess that third day in this story, but I think it was on the fifth day or sixth day or something like that. I can't really remember. They come back to like, yeah, we went down there as soon as we got back. It turns out that you buy the ticket, right? And then you have to put the ticket back into the machine, load it up with money, because every time you scan it, it takes money out of that card, and then you keep rolling, right? So if you have money on your card, it'll ding, like it'll turn up green. But if you don't have any money on that card because you didn't load it, it shows up and it turns up red. I'm like, oh man. So what happened? We're like, well, we didn't know that, just like we didn't know that last night. So we just took our cards. Oh, they said we actually bought new cards. We took our cards and we're like, okay, there's no way that this works anymore. So they bought new ones, got back on the tram. It's still showing up red. So we're like, oh man, this is just not good. As simple as that. like as soon, if this is like a Mission Impossible mission, like get down there as fast as you can and get back. Get down there, buy those soccer jerseys, and get back as soon as you possibly can before somebody finds you. So they get down to the city of Jerusalem. They find the soccer store. They actually run to the soccer store because they were really close on time. The guy allowed them to get in, buy a couple of jerseys, which was really nice. I mean, he's making money, so like, how nice can it actually be? But they get back on the tram, right? And they still have their unloaded cards, and police officers are actually on the tram this time. They stop the tram on the next stop. They pull the couple out and say, "What is going on? Why do you guys not have money?" And we're all like, what are you talking about? And the police officer is like, I'm gonna have to write you a ticket because you take this card, you put it in, you buy the card first, you put the card back in, and then you load it. And we're like, oh man. They're like, oh man, we're so sorry. We're like, all right, can we see your IDs? The husband has his ID, says sure, here you go, sounds good. And then the wife is like, all I have is my normal debit card. I don't have my ID, like my passport and driver's license. I didn't think because I wasn't driving. Like I didn't think we would need to do this. That's all back at the hotel. And so they write her a ticket for like trespassing and unlawfully like entering the tram and using the tram without any money. So it's like I don't know how much money it was in like Israeli dollars, but it was like around $65, like our money, which is actually a lot. And they're like, and she's like, well, what do I do? And she's like, don't worry, it's okay, just pay it at the hotel. And she's like, okay, well, like, all right. So they get back to the hotel, right? They get back to the hotel, they go to the concierge, the front desk, the check-in desk or whatever. And she puts the thing on the table and says, how do I pay for this? And apparently, this might be the funniest part, is that the Israeli concierge says, don't worry about it. We get these all the time. They don't care. So the wife is like, what are you talking about? Like, I'll pay for it right now. I have my wallet. And the concierge like literally says, no, don't pay this. Don't pay this. It is okay. It is fine. We get this all the time. And we're like, okay, so what are you going to do with it? So the concierge takes it, rips it up, and just throws it in the trash. Throws away the ticket. So the wife and the husband turn around and we're like, if we don't make it out of this country the next day, we are done for. Because we just threw away like a $65 ticket that could have just been easily paid for. So if they ever catch us at the airport or whatever, we're done. As simple as that. We're done. They're going to ask us what happened. We're like, well, the ticket was torn up. So we all as a collective group were like, oh man, what's going to happen to them? Oh man, we're going to be stopped at the airport. We're going to have to wait. They're going to be thrown into prison. We're done for. As simple as that. Turns out the concierge was actually right. they they got on the airplane completely fine, unscathed. No one stopped them. I mean, I really don't know how far up it goes, like a little traffic violation ticket. Like, there's no way it goes up on their like record saying like do not let them leave the country or whatever. But they, that's what they thought, right? They thought that that's what was going to happen. They thought they were going to be thrown in jail. They already thought they were going to be thrown in jail at first when they got stopped by the police, and then now the concierge just ripped up their ripped up their check or ripped up their ticket, and it's still okay. So we all make it back to the States. It's all good. It's all fine. $65 richer because we never had to pay it. It was great. It was so funny because my mom, that's pretty much the end of the story, but it was so funny that my mom talked to this guy, Donnie, or I literally cannot remember his name. It's just like so goofy. I try to change. I try to block this guy out from my memory because it was just so funny that he was like, "Yeah, we've been here 17 times. We love Israel." Like, okay, great. Like, let's get down there. And we're all like just following this guy that we had no idea. It was like, man, this guy's gonna lead us to like death row or something. Like, it's just not gonna be good. Like, here we go. Like, if something happens while we're all down, because this is all a side mission. This is not part of our curriculum, part of like why we were there. We were just doing this as like, we want to go down there. So like, it wasn't even our entire church. It was only like 15-20 members of our church following this other church going down there to the city of Jerusalem. And I'm assuming that we would just like lose them and all that. We're just gonna use them to get down there or whatever. But this clown that apparently is an entire tour guide for his church and has been there 17 or 18 times to the country of Israel, could not even figure out the tram ticket. And we were like, so Donnie, like, have you been down here before? And he said, yeah, I've been down like to the downtown. And we're like, well, have you used this tram system before? He was like, sort of. Like, how hard can it be? Like, come on. We were all like, oh man, we should have just never followed that guy in the first place. Like, we can't believe it. So it was really funny. You probably didn't laugh, honestly, but the people that were there probably laughed listening to this, if you are listening to that. But if you weren't there, it's like, oh, okay, well, like, what is this story? But it was honestly really funny that like we had no idea how to like that was the idea, that you had to buy the card and then put the card back in and then load the card and then use the money. And it was funny, on our way back to the hotel, like everybody, right, we saw this like nice little Israeli girl. Oh, how's it going? She was like, my name is Rayma. Like, nice to meet you, Rayma. Like, I'm Nate, this is Kelly, a couple other people. It was pretty cool. And she was like, yeah, like I just finished up university. And we're like, okay, that's pretty cool. What do you want to do? And she was like, no, she just finished up high school. She was 21 and had just finished up high school. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to go to college. I'm really excited. It's going to be fun. We're like, man, like, that's pretty cool. Do you have to go to the military? And I completely forgot that she was Muslim. So like, in the city or the country of Israel, Israeli people, like the Jewish people, the Jewish nation, actually has to serve at least 2 years in the military. It's kind of like college or whatever, but like like necessary college, and you have to do this. You have to spend 2 years serving in the Israeli military once you get out of high school, before you go to college. But Muslim people do not. They do not have to do that. Muslim kids do not have to do that. Muslim, like, I guess like late teenagers, early young adults don't have to do that. So she was like, yeah, like yeah. I was like, yeah, you got off scot-free. And she was like, yeah, I mean, not really, but like I still have to like live here and like go to college. And we're like, yeah, I guess you're right. So it was funny. She's like, so how, like, ours is scanning red. Like, what's yours doing? It's like, well, I have mine on my phone. I have an app. She was like literally showing us an app, this Israeli app. Well, I guess like it's an Israeli app, but like it was all in like Arabic because she was Muslim. She was going through it, right? And like, you can just load the money on your phone and then just tap your phone up to it. And that's what we were seeing. Like, some people had cards, some people had phones. She was like, yeah, you just load the money onto your phone and then just keep scanning. And we're like, well, we're not part of the city. We're like, our church and like that area is not, it's not far from the city, but none of us actually live in the city. And Richmond, where I live, definitely does not have a subway or tram system. Like you would have to go to Chicago or New York or something like that to like find something like that. So we had no idea how like a tram system worked. But it was just so funny that like we almost got like we completely did illegal activities in in the city of Israel, and then the couple that needed to go down there to buy those soccer jerseys actually got caught. And then on top of that, they get the check, they get the little ticket and bring it to the concierge, and concierge like, we get this all the time, rips it up and just says it's okay. We're like, what in the world? Like, this is how it happens? Holy cow. But no, I love my time in Israel. It was a whole lot of fun. That story is just so much fun to tell, especially now, like talking to people, like we're like just laughing so hard. Like we're never going to get down there. Like as simple as that. Like it was just so funny. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, having fun with me, talking about my time in Israel. Thank you for listening to this podcast, and go watch my Israel movie video. I'm calling it the Israel movie because that's kind of dramatic, but it's about 30 minutes. I mean, so is this podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, having fun with me, talking about Israel. I'll see you guys in the next podcast episode, YouTube video, Patreon video, or anything of that nature.